Howdy, folks! Welcome back to another week of Deck Check. Joining me is the blue belly bottom,
Blue belly bottom.
the bell bottoms. People don't wear bell bottoms no more, but they should.
All right. Roll up the locals and bell bottoms.
You actually probably could rock them. Not gonna lie.
Simon Miniature. No, I don't think so.
I think you could.
Short. I look just like a oompa loompa.
But you look good. So I feel like you'd look good in a lot of. Anyways, sorry, I'll stop flirting with you. Anyways, welcome back, folks. If you guys are watching this early as a member, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We appreciate you. If you're watching this video when it goes public, we appreciate you checking this out. If you are someone new, if you're someone returning, thank you for sticking around. But if you are new, consider liking and subscribing, sticking around, watching all the Digimon content that we got rolling out every day. We're getting towards the end of BT21. We're slowly getting there.
Finally,
we're finally in June, right? We're inching towards EX9, which I know there's not too much in EX9 for you personally, Ben, but I myself am financially ruined already after looking at those Alter S alters.
Certain card that I need.
True, the Sagittarius.
Little bark boy.
You do, yeah. You need some dog. So you know we're probably gonna start going over some of those decks soon, or at least some of the theory craftings of those some theory craftings of those decks soon. But yeah, I think that's about all I got. Let's go ahead and let's jump into the decks here. I'm kicking us off today, and we're starting with Jesmon, baby. Starting with all or nothing. This list was run by Rabbit15 over in Spain. Got first place at a 12-player tamer battle. Congrats to you. So Jesmon is honestly, it's kind of a boogeyman for me personally. I have a really bad history of playing against this deck where I tend to lose. We see a lot of the standard Jesmon stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time because it's a lot of the older pieces at the bottom of the list. We do have the BT20 pieces in here, which have kind of become the new main line, and it's really funny because I feel like every time we get like Jesmon support, they basically toss out the old line and just put the new line in, and then toss sisters in, and then you maybe keep a few searchers or floodgates here and there.
Right.
But Jesmon right now is pretty. It can be pretty scary because usually they don't do much like mid-range play. There's not really much like control play. They basically the turn they push up, they're either winning that turn or they're setting up their board to win the following turn. Being able to drop the new Genku for reduced cost in conjunction with the Bauhuck is just really scary because of the protections or his ability to digivolve into Genku X, and then Genku X just gives protections to everything.
Right.
It's good that it's only Digimon effects at least, but it's still like it's the fact that the entire board is immune to Digimon effects is just insane. It's so crazy. He's also not a small card at all with all of the DP boost inherits on their turn. But him just sitting at 13k base is really good. And then you combine that with the fact that they have Jesmon GX Ace now, which is a super powerful card to threaten things with. It's hard. Also, you're probably going to be hearing Discord notification sounds through my computer. I apologize. Oh my god, stop messaging. All the boys are messaging at the time. I need to put that chat.
Chat popping.
All right. Anyways, but yeah, so Jesmon's really cool. It's a neat deck. I know some people have been having a lot of fun with it. I'm interested to see if they're ever gonna try and change like the play style for it, but
yeah.
Otherwise, that's about it. It's a neat deck. It's got some cool pieces. Genku X is a terrifying
Yeah, I mean
card.
it's a scary deck because it's interesting, right? Because like you said, like there's a lot of neat things that it can do. It just almost, I think we use this phrase a lot on the channel, right? Where it's like too fair in the sense that yes, you could go into the Genku and do the big shenanigans, do a big wall, but you end up passing your opponent sometimes like 6-7 memory. That being said though, like if you've got a bunch of bodies that are just straight up immune blockers,
Reality is
sometimes there's not. The reality is it doesn't matter if you give them 2 memory or 10 memory. Arguably, that's like pretty damn good.
Yeah, I would say there's only a few decks in the game right now that can really just play around that and not care. But for the most part, it's kind of just spelling disaster for you if they do that.
Right.
It's tough. Also, everything is blocker reboot, so.
It
Or sorry,
is
well,
until
Sister
the
Huck
end of
and Royal Knight trade have reboot marker.
right. It is till the end of your turn, so it's not like it's a constant immunity, right? But that one
Sure.
turn sometimes is all that they need to like kind of snowball and ping pong into like, you know, 5, 6 bodies on the board. They threaten the GX ace, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, there's not
I'm
much
in
you can
trouble.
do. It's really not much.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's only a few decks that can. But it's
Right,
neat.
right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably mostly unfair more than it's fair, but its fairness comes from its lack of consistency. That's really where it hurts. If it was able to
Right.
consistently
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
its play
Sure.
all the time, then it
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
tier 1. Probably tier 0,
Mhm.
I would argue. All
Yeah.
right. I think we're scooting on.
Sure thing. Scooting on, we've got Blue Flare, piloted by Kenneth Tan over in the Philippines. Got first place at a Tamer battle, hosted by Play to Learn. So congratulations. It's nice to see Blue Flare. I know we've highlighted it on Deck Check a couple of times, and honestly, I don't think builds have really changed all too much since the deck kind of got its update back in the Booster 2.0 meta. You kind of run the whole, you know, low to the ground rookie package. I think Uko makes sense, you know, to just add for consistency and cycle, because Blue Flare does have a tendency, if you're kind of stuck in an awkward spot, you do have a inability to draw yourself out at times. So having Uko as just tempo and cycle is just a great addition. The Gaussmon that we got over in BT19 is, I think, really good. It does help with the new archetypal idea of having stuff underneath your tamers, which helps that place game plan, and then also gives you the draw 1 capability for cycle. The new Metal Greymon being able to swing and then de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, I think was really needed for the deck. Because with any sort of blue low to the ground deck, one of the biggest problems that it runs into is typically ace plays or ace threats. So being able to say, look, I'm a de-digivolve that to save yourself is always really nice. And then pair that with the Z Greymon being able to additionally de-digivolve, swing, play bodies out that potentially have rush. Really, really nice combo play there that does a lot of aggression and Unga Bunga plays.
Mhm.
The new Kiriha also, I think, is underrated. 3-drop to basically say, I'm a tuck to gain a memory at the start of turn is really good, in my opinion. I've seen some decks float the triple tamer that we saw from BT11, the Taiki Nene Kiriha,
Right.
where you tuck to gain 1, which again I think helps just with overall consistency. Because unlike that tamer, this Kiriha only does the gain memory part. It doesn't draw you 1.
Right.
Which I don't quite understand, that if like hunters can have it, if Cross can have it, why not just give it to Blue Flare? But that's just me. And then you got your blue memory and Sorai. Sorai, really good. Well-timed Sorai really will hurt Royal Knights and other decks. So I think just a really good spread overall. Not much else to say about it.
Also a good card against Megidra as well. That's another one to note.
Yes.
Very good against
Yes.
Megidra. Yeah. I think that about covers it. Blue Flare doing Blue Flare things. All right, jumping on.
Sir.
We have GigaSeadra X Antibody, or GigaSeadra Black Base, however you like to refer to it. This was Takatomo's list over in JP. Got first place at a Tamer battle. So I've loved this like idea of like GigaSeadra Black Base X Antibody shenanigans. It's been really cool since we had like ever since we even had like Tyler back like show it on the channel like you know like a month ago now, a little bit longer maybe. I don't know how time is a weird soup. I lose track of it. But that was really cool to see then, and we've seen people like iterate on that list and like and do their own takes of stuff. Even you and I were theory crafting it like the night before, which was really funny to just see it the next day. But it's pretty cool. It's a really neat like show of player like creativity and expression. And this list kind of even goes beyond that. So we don't see any Ginryu from BT20, which is interesting. We also see a Numemon X Antibody in here, which I'm assuming is for its ability to float if you lose the stack, so you can play it out. Because it can spit itself back out effectively with the Undeletion Inherit. But I think that's really neat. We see the full like the level 2 lineup with the new Doraemon is really good for the Chronicle stuff. We see the Dorumon lineup's pretty standard for what we've been seeing. Seeing one of the BT15 Ginryu is really interesting to me. This actually might be the BT20 Ginryu, and they just have the wrong one in here.
I was about to say,
because he doesn't really do
that
much.
Makes sense.
Outside of the inherit being like decent.
Mhm.
But that's about all I can really consider. But even like the inherit's not bad. You know, when this Digimon becomes suspended, suspending an opponent's Digimon or Tamer with play costs less than or equal to this Digimon's pretty decent. Standard Darugumon and Dex Daruga lineup's pretty good. We do see the Dorogray here as well, which is also interesting because you're not really ever gonna get the full effect out of it because you don't have anything that's undead or like a beast dragon or whatever. But the inherit can be really, really nice for just helping you wideboard even further than you already do.
Right.
And collision can be good for like low end board control as well. Grademon is just such a key piece to this whole combo, being able to spit out a Doru or Ryuda from hand to empty breeding areas, so you kind of keep cycling that aggression after you push up. And then get the plus 5 KDP and effect protection is massive. It's very, very needed. We see 2 of the Dark Tray Ace, which is really cool. This card is slowly becoming more and more of a staple in black and purple decks, just being used to counter a lot of plays. Scapegoat plays really well with this deck because you are oftentimes spitting out other bodies or having some sort of state of a board. Not to mention, like, if you do your whole GigaSeadra play where you spit out the Grademon, you threaten the Ace, which is really, really nice. We do see 1 copy of the old BT4 Anubis, and assuming this is the correct card and not card meta having the wrong one listed, this card does have some neat stuff it can do with the Dorogray. The fact that you can kind of get like an extra little rush body out there for some cheaper aggression is pretty good. I don't hate that. And then GigaSeadra himself is just a menace of a card. He's a card that can very easily, if any other like Black X anybody like generic stuff comes out, he could very easily just be very broken very quickly. I mean, having Sec +1 reboot and blocker all on the same card is massive. To have an on Evo and when attacking effect, to spit out bodies, especially bodies that can threaten Ace, is really good. And then also having access to Digivolve as part of that is huge. Is so good.
Right.
So he's just a cool card. He's just a really, really cool card. OmniX is a menace, so it makes sense just having that extra piece to kind of help finish games or just, you know, completely annihilate your opponent's board. And then a lot of standard tamers that we've seen. I think the Kosuke is a bit out of the ordinary. I don't think we see Kosuke too much usually. But giving piercing can be really, really good. I mean, you are running all X Anybody stuff for the most part, so it makes sense with GigaSeadra. Yuji's a staple, Cool Boy's a staple, helping you find your pieces. And then we also see them taking in, though, the Island of Adventure and Genai's House cards.
I like that.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, Island of Adventure, just being able to spit out tamers is just so good for just kind of putting your opponent in a bad spot where it's like, hey, if you want early aggression, that's fine, but you're going to give me extra resources. And then Genai's House can just be kind of good for that clutch play. If your opponent blows out your security but can't finish the game for whatever reason, being able to get that rookie spit out. And also just all the DP boosts is really nice. But yeah, if you are someone who has access to the majority of these cards in some way, I do recommend trying out the deck. I think it's really, really fun. I think like out of this list even here, the most expensive piece is probably OmniX, and you don't necessarily need it. You can get away without it.
Yeah.
It may not feel as great.
It's definitely,
you can do it.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it may not feel as good per se, but like you could definitely build the deck and still have a lot of fun with it despite not having, you know, that big French baguette man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I recommend people trying it out. It's a fun list to try. If you're looking just for some like X Anybody kind of shenanigans goodness, a little bit of a glimpse into the past of what it might have felt like to be an Alphamon player for like a turn. It can feel nice. But yeah, I think that's it for this. We'll go ahead and jump onto our last list, which I'm excited to hear you talk about because I've been getting hyped up as I've been hyping you up.
But yes, this is a blue Melga list that was piloted by Max Tobitgo. I'm probably butchering that name. Max Tobitgo. Yeah. Over in Singapore, got first place at a Tamer Evo battle, Evo Cup.
That's an Evo Cup.
Was a 5-rounder, 32 players. So I mean, it definitely did work. This is also a shout out to fellow DigiTuber DigiDane. who also recently topped his locals with a Melga list that might have been inspired by this, if I'm not mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong. Um, very, very interesting. You've run just 8 rookies. You've got your BT15 Gabu, which is an immense rookie just for draw power and consistency. The Gabu X is an additional search piece. It'd be nice to get an updated Gabu X
That's not
outside of
restricted.
just the BT9 one. Yeah, that's not restricted. Also, potentially gives you an inheritable, but for now, this is the best Gabu X that you run. They're not running the limited one, which I think is interesting, but also makes sense with how this deck is built, which we'll get to in a quick second. You're in a typical Garuru package, which once again, just 8 of them, 4 of the BT15 Garuru and 4 of the BT9X antibody. BT15 Garuru is really good again for consistency and just finding your pieces, which this build is all about. Where Garuru, when you Evo, draws you a card. Where Garuru X lets you pick up pieces from your trash, which again helps you get your combos going. I'm curious to see why they weren't running like BT9 sets or BT9X antibody. Because that unsuspend I feel like could be helpful, but I guess since you're not running like a low end jamming package or a low end like battle protection outside the Guru X, like maybe you don't care about it as much.
Yeah.
But I usually like to run the BT9 Wear X.
It can be nice for the bounce. I mean, this one still gets an unsuspend, which is good, and has the unsuspend inherit, which is really, really nice. But it does have the 1 cost Evo. But yeah, I think the unsuspended inherit's probably what they're wanting to go for more often than not.
Probably.
But that being said, I'm also surprised that they didn't run like one of each of the 1-ofs for the Gabu X and the Guru X for the Anybody else just run those at 3/3 and then do that. But hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, exactly. The EX1 Melga is making a comeback. This was a card that a lot of folks towards the end of like BT9 Melga era were using a lot of, which I think is really cool. Gain a memory for every 4 cards in your hand is pretty nasty for some efficiency Evo. So at oftentimes, particularly in nowadays meta, this could be a 1-cost Evo, if not a free Evo. When you pair that with like trainings and such. When attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in hand, which with how much draw you're doing in this deck is very, very viable, you can return one of your opponent's Digimon with on deletion effects to the bottom of its owner's deck. Huge against Megidra and other like sort of mill deletion deck based stuff, which I think is really cool. You've got 2 of the Melga X antibody from EX5, which is essentially just a big mega ice wall. You got BT15 Melga, which is good for stunning bodies, has evade, so it gets around deletion effects, and lets you swing multiple times, which again is good for a deck that likes to restand and swing. Paladin and Omni X as your combos for level 7. I think Paladin Ace is, again, good call for the meta when you're dealing with a lot of Megidras and purple decks. Omni X is, again, if you're swinging and restanding a lot, I mean, this guy can easily just go for game and give you sort of like what we saw with a lot of folks running the Magna X Omni, like Magna X focus build with the Cool Boys, where this guy is such a good just like defensive option as well to just get rid of everything and say, okay, well, I'm just gonna wipe your board, set up a big blocker, deal with me sort of situation. And then you run your typical consistency pieces. 4 Cool Boy, 4 Matashita. Both tamers let you pick up cards. Cool Boy, as we've seen in many metas past, you Evo on an X antibody, net ton of memory, net a lot of draw power. Matt is basically Melga's Rika, lets you search pieces and gain a memory. So long run, like a 2-cost tamer essentially. You run 4 boosts, 4 scrambles, which again just helps with your memory efficiency. And then 2 protoforms for that cheaper Evo cost as well. So really, really interesting list. I think Melga is going to be an interesting spot next format with EX9 and the new Sagittarius mode with the Digivolving shenanigans. There's also been a pretty cheeky list running the promo Magna Garurumons as well. So I'm excited. I think finally I can get a little bit of a blue fix for once.
Yeah. No, I think that's. I agree. I fully agree.
So yeah, I'm ready to play some dog again.
Yeah, get that dog back in you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all our lists that we got for you guys today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. If there's any lists you want us to kind of keep an eye out for or look around for, let us know in the comment section down below. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. We will soon be jumping into some theory crafted lists for EX9 and probably beyond as we get closer to 22 and get more reveals. We're slowly getting more reveals for 22 as we get there. And it's not, I mean, it's only 3 weeks after EX9 that it comes out, which is insane. It's crazy how fast it comes out after. It's not even a full month after.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So we're going to head out and I'll let Ben say the line.
Thank y'all for tuning in. As TJ said, we appreciate every one of ya, and hopefully we catch ya on that flippy flip.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.